The fastest way to zero point 0.5 Bitcoin. You want to get to half a Bitcoin? Well, this is the fastest way to get to there. So first, I want to go through the more consistent and the more uh, best way, I think, in my opinion, to get there to 0.5 to zero point 0.5 Bitcoin. But um, before I give you the fastest way, I want to give you the more consistent and more practical way to get there. So first, in my opinion, it's better to go through um, DCA. And why I think so, because if you're already working, you are a income earner. Let's say you work in a regular job, don't quit your job. Okay, don't quit your job. Don't let them fire you. So what do? You keep doing a good job at your job, and then use that income, excess income, let's say some extra saving from your income, and then DCA. So I'm gonna tell you what DCA is. DCA is basically take a small portion of your saving. For example, let's say if it's $50 or $100, right? And then you say, okay, I'm gonna put in this amount every month or every week. So every week I get paid, I put that amount into Bitcoin. So that's really what this year means. It's just dollar cost averaging. So averaging the volatility, right? So that's the case if you are an income earner. So, but there is something called lump sum buy, lump sum purchase. So let's say you have, you had a certain amount of money sitting there. Let's say you had some investment into gold, or you had some money sitting in your bank account, not earning you nothing. So you say, okay, hey, I heard about this Bitcoin thing, and I wanna put in some just in case, right? It catches on. Let's say just in case Bitcoin becomes the next thing, right? So you want to put in some money. First, I would suggest you to study Bitcoin, learn it, do your own research, and then come to your conclusion why you need it. And then second, what what you would do to get there to that zero point 0.5 Bitcoin, it would this you would put that portion of not not all your saving, but portion of that saving into a Bitcoin. So we're gonna go through that practically. So for example, right, let's say you was back in 2019, right? 2019, you started in November 2019 to November this year. You put in $42 every week, right? Every week, $42 of DCA into Bitcoin. I will give you, as you calculate the result here, you would be end up with a total of $11,000 invested. That would be the cash invested into Bitcoin. Okay, that would be the accumulation of all those $42 a week, right? And then it would become half a Bitcoin at this point. And then the value, right, of that money, right, on Bitcoin would be $46,000, right? You'd put in 11,000, you'd be getting 46,000, right? So it would be about be making a average profit of 319%, and then a lump sum of 972%, right? Um, so amazing, right? So you would be uh, so that would be the value total BTC purchase, right? So that'll be 0 0.5 Bitcoin, right? Purchase, right? So if you did uh, a lump sum, right? Let's say back then, right, you had the $11,000, right? And then at that $11,000 you had, you just put in that the whole 11,000 back in 2019, you'd be buying 1.3 Bitcoin, okay, and the return would be $117,000, right? And then you would have a profit of 970%, 72%, right? So you would be already there at 1.3 Bitcoin back with all your investment of 11,000. But because you didn't have that 11,000, you had to work for it and you had to get paid every week. So you had to just DCA your way to it, right? So this is it here. So now we're gonna use the both strategies. Let's say we're gonna put in a certain amount, right? You started with a certain amount. You started with 3,000, right? So $3,000 you start right now. For example, I'm not saying what you should do. I'm just saying I'm just giving an example, right? So let's say, for example, somebody would start with $3,000 right now of investment of money they had sitting there in a bank or somewhere not doing anything. That 3,000, and then Bitcoin grows in about 40%, 50% a year. But let's bring it down. Let's be conservative at 43% a year. So we do that for okay, so we do that for 7 years, right? So for 7 years, and then the deposit amount would be $100 weekly, and then that would be the amount we'd be getting, about $281,000, right? Um, Now in our Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin price is about 80,000 right now. We put it at 80, right? So Bitcoin go at 40% a year. So let's say started from here, we go to all the way to 570, because in 5 years, right, Bitcoin will be at 570. So we're gonna change this to 7 years, just because the first calculation was at 7 years. So we're gonna find our medium, right? So Bitcoin goes up there. Let's say they have the price for now, from the average price at this point, let's say 70. Oh, okay. So we're gonna put the price, leave it at okay, 70. We're gonna leave this at 5 years, right? The only thing we're gonna change over there, you're gonna put 5,000. See, okay, it'll be 5 years, 130,000. I'm gonna put 10,000, 70. Okay, we're getting closer. Okay, so what if we do 150 a week? Okay, so we're gonna do 8,000. Okay, so this is we take 8,000, right? That's sitting in the bank account, right? Or maybe you can borrow, right, from the bank. Let's say you can get a line of credit for very low interest rate. Let's say 5% interest rate on a line of credit. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying let's say you can, or maybe you just had that saving in a bank account, right? And then you put this that's growing. That's gonna go at 40% a year, 43, and then you put that at for 5 years, and then you put in, right, the weekly deposit, right? You would be investing another 150 a week. So that would be about almost 200,000, right? $200,000 in the 5 years. And then in the 5 years, let's say Bitcoin price right now is at um, about 200,000. Okay, let's say Bitcoin average price right now, let's say 60,000. Right? I'm gonna put 60 just in case. Um, okay, 60,000. Now you have 40% a year, right? And then you have another five, five for 5 years, right? So that would be about 429,000 for Bitcoin. So half of that would be about 210,000, right? So that would put you close, right? Very close to your goal, right? That would be you would be very, very close to your goal. But if you say you put in an extra $10, that would be 160. That would put you to your goal, right? So 160 a week with you start with $8,000, right? In straight to Bitcoin. That's that money gonna start growing. It's gonna start growing under Bitcoin, right? Went up and down, but you're there for 5 years, right? And then that weekly investment. So weekly that would be like 160 um $160 a week. I'll put you there. That would put you close to, let's say, um, to that price. But let's say you do that for 6 years, right? Right? In 6 years, I'd be the more the most of the most I would say what's the word um, uh, conservative, right? The most conservative way I would say is 6 years. So it would be about at 328,000 for the 6 years, right? That would put you past that level of a Bitcoin, right? So of half a Bitcoin. So again, that would be if Bitcoin only grows at 40% a year for the next 5 years, and only if Bitcoin don't get to $1 million in the next 5 years. So obviously Bitcoin goes up a lot, right? Sometimes it can go exponentially higher in a year. Sometimes it can drop very massively in a year. So it would be um, for sure it would be just a speculation of what where we can get to. But over a year, what I did, I said did from 2009 from 2019 to 2024, it's like a 5 year period. You put in 100, you would be getting 1.21 Bitcoin. So you see, the idea here is like the earlier you start, the better off you are. I don't think it's not necessarily about like your goal of how much Bitcoin you get. It's about the profit, right, over the long term, right? It's the journey, right? That matters. It's not about how much Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is it's like it's not necessarily like this amount of Bitcoin I have 0.1 or 0.5 or 1 or 2 Bitcoin. That doesn't matter. What matters is the protection for your money, right? So the second step, right, this year, and the second step, which is the fastest way, right, to get there, which I don't recommend, but some people may want to do it. That would be to borrow, right? Borrow and then get there, right? For example, uh, one Bitcoin is about 90,000 right now, right? So at 90,800, and then you borrow, let's say 95,000, and then you get the Bitcoin. So let's say you borrow at 95,000, right? So if you borrow 95,000 and you borrow 95,000 right now, uh, let's say 90,000. So you're paying, um, let's say you're paying 10, let's say 5%. It would have to be like very low interest rate, right? So at 5%, right, that would be at $4,000 a year. So you'd be spending $4,000 a year. That divided by, sorry. So 4,000, let's say 4,000. 500, you divide it by, why does that always end up making that? Uh, okay, so I had to do that twice. Okay, 4,500, you divide that by 12, that would give you about $375 a month, right? So $275 a month, you just pay that interest rate, right? You just pay that interest rate every month. Let's say you pay 500 a month, right? So that would be an extra, they take it, it would be an extra burden, debt burden on you to pay every month, because you have that massive money locked up into Bitcoin. That would be another option. That's like the fastest way to get there. That's what my MicroStrategy is using, the strategy of borrow and then buy Bitcoin. But the way he's doing it is doing it in a clever way. He's just getting like a very low interest rate, right? Like the average person is not gonna get a low interest rate. Um, that's why I don't recommend this model, because the rate is too high. But if you can get like I mean 2%, 3%, um, which I doubt, but if you can, that would be a good way. But that would be the fastest way to get there. And the other way would be to um, do some side hustle. Right? Let's say you can have a business on the side. You can work extra hours, like extra days, right? And then those extra hours they add up, right? So that's an extra $100, right? So let's say you could put an extra $100 into your strategy. That strategy over here, that would be 260 dollars, right? So that would put you there way faster. You see, that would put you there. That would put you at 471,000, right? And the Bitcoin price at the time would be at maybe 429, right? So you could even get to one Bitcoin fast. It's faster than you think. So just by doing some extra side also, right? So that's just like completely up to the person, right? Depending on your age, depending on your availability and your health. Right? It's all sacrifice, right? That's why I think it's the best strategy. The best thing is to accumulate when you can right now. So tomorrow you don't have to do that much sacrifice to get to half a Bitcoin or zero point 0.1 Bitcoin, right? So I think in 5 years people will be so if 0.1 is in 5 years 0.1 Bitcoin will be so much um, like very unattainable for a lot of people. And if you can right now, I think it's the best way to work, right? Work and get there, or can do something to get there. You can find like extra work or side hustle. That would be my best advice. Or just huddle or do something. Um, yeah. So I hope you enjoy. This was PieCover. I'll see you again.